Chelsea managed to get a win at home against Crystal Palace in a 2-1 match outing. It's surprising for me because I was expecting them to draw. But let's get straight into this video. Welcome back to Chelsea Sessions. Welcome to Chelsea Sessions. And this is a match that if you watched my preview, you would have known that I predicted a draw. I predicted a 2-2 draw. It ended up being a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Madueke winning it for Chelsea. It's a fantastic end to the match. There were positives, there were negatives, and I'm going to go straight into that right now. No, the starting lineup saw Matson starting over Madueke. Casado coming back into the team right after being out against Wolves due to high fever and illness. Nkunku got his first PL start, his first start professionally for Chelsea, and it was fantastic. He was influential. He was playing. He was distributing the ball. He was linking up well with Gusto, who I must say was very good in this game. He was excellent. He performed good. He was very deadly on that right hand side. He tried the defensive side. He was doing well. Sometimes he struggled, but he still did not give up. The offensive side, he was storming up the pitch. He was doing his creativity, and he was responsible for the goal that Mudryk, who also started the game on the left, as I would have predicted in my lineup. And looking back, my predicted lineup or predicted 11 aligns well with what Pochettino did, barring the fact that Matt started over Madueke. And it's a poetic way. But I'll discuss the poetic thing about Madueke later on in this video as well. But Gusto would have gotten the assist for Mudryk's goal in the 13th minute. It was a well taken shot, goes straight past Dean Henderson, and it's 1-0 to Chelsea. Chelsea would continue and continue and continue. And even before that, they had opportunities to extend their lead before Elise would score in stoppage time for the first half for Crystal Palace, bringing them back level before half time. It was down to lack of experience. Inexperience creeped in. There was a lack of concentration. There was a mix up there as well. Elise had space. Petrovic could do nothing at all. And I must say, Petrovic did quite well. But Chile struggled and eventually would have seen him come off as well. We would have also seen players like Levi Cole come off for Silva in the second half after a rocky start to the second half. Crystal Palace being on the front foot yet again, being on the front foot in the first half, and then being on the front foot in the second half as well. Chelsea being on the back foot, but eventually, as it would have been in the first half, they grew into the game after about 20 minutes, and eventually, Madueke would have been brought on, Matsu would have been removed. Lavia would have gotten his debut as well, and I must say, Lavia did have some shaky moments, but he did seem calm. It was his first start. It was his not first start. It was his first appearance. It was his first outing on the pitch for Chelsea, and Chelsea fans will be happy. We got to see what a potential Casado and Lavia starting at the same time will look like, and I must say that it looked somewhat okay for a first outing. You may see it more often going forward, but we have to admit that it was a positive to see Nkunku start the game. He did have opportunities and he did miss it. But so I would have looked to say that this is a case where we're gonna be seeing our not finishing ability being spread to Nkunku, the only option that we would have had that we would have seen score a goal for us against Wolves. Would it be spread to him? But we would see Mudryk scoring a goal. He did quite well. In the first half, he was very impressive. He was very impactful. He was moving the ball. He was moving with pace. But Nathaniel Klein would have, found a way to counteract his ability in the second half. We would have seen Mudryk picking up an injury. Hopefully, it's nothing serious because Mudryk is starting to grow in form. He's still shaky, but he's still getting there, and he's still getting there. But we will see what happens as it goes there. But I have to honestly say, Crystal Palace played very high. They were pressing high. We struggled, as I would have mentioned. We were on the back foot. Crystal Palace were on the front foot for the first half and also the second half, the beginning of both halves. We see them pressing very high. We struggled to get out. But we were able to create. We created a lot of chances, and we will approach the negative side of the game as well. And then I'll go back to the Mudryk situation and Madueke as well. The situation that I would have seen now is that we're seeing the old Chelsea that we've seen throughout this season and also in 2023 where we started to struggle more and more. I know 59 goals conceded in 2023. It's not impressive. It really isn't. It really isn't one that is impressive. And we're seeing it more than usual now. We don't want to see, but we're seeing it more. And it's concerning. We're seeing a case where Pochettino is making poor decisions. And I'm going to speak about the poor decisions that he would have made in the second half in particular. And, the changes is one that were questionable, I have to say. Nkunku being positioned on the right flanks, it was concerning. It was very confusing. It was a struggle. It would cause me, in a sense, to make me scratch my head because I'm wondering what Pochettino was doing. We know that Nkunku is best centrally, he's better centrally, and we would have seen that he was constantly trying to push himself over into the central area, making it narrow because we saw Gallagher move centrally and up into the 10 position when Lavia came on, making a double six of a Casado and Lavia. So it was concerning for me to see, and I'm wondering. And another thing is that Gusto was moved to the left side. And I'm saying and obviously we would have seen Gusto move back to the right, but when it started, when Gusto would have been moved to the left, we saw a situation of him struggling. He was constantly trying to put the ball back onto his right foot on that left side, and it was a struggle because that would slow him down. Moments would have been lost, opportunities that he could have created were being lost as well. So it was questionable to see him be moved to the left when he was starting, was very influential on that right side. And then we saw a centre back, which I don't know why Pochettino is so obsessed with playing the Sassy as a right back when he has Gusto. And Gusto, had some injury scares as well. But Gusto is actually performing good. He linked up quite well with Nkunku. He was working well with Mudryk yet again. And I'm happy. We needed somebody who to step up during James's injury situation and him being we needed one last season. We struggled with Aspi being the only option. And we have a young 20-year-old Gusto who is impressing. He's still raw, he still has a way to go, but based on what he's doing so far, Chelsea fans will see something to be excited about because we're seeing things that are positive. But Pochettino really, really made me pissed. I was very upset with him. His substitutions took a very long time to be impactful, and that is understandable. But the decisions that he would have made to move Gusto to the right, from the right to the left, sorry, we see it's confusing. I really didn't know why he did that. But in the end, he did make the right decision, and then we would have seen the influential player, Madueke, who I predicted to start. I'm surprised he didn't start. Madsen didn't really have the greatest of games, to be honest, up there, and that's understandable because that's not his real position. That's not the position that he's been playing in for a long period. And we know that there's a situation with his transfer situation on his contract situation as well, about if he will be sold, if he will be released due to the fact that he has not agreed to a contract. There hasn't been any contract agreement. And obviously we haven't really heard much about if he's been offered a contract or he's rejected it or whatever. We haven't really heard nothing about that. But it's a case where Matson struggled. But Madueke would have come on. Obviously, I would have mentioned in my preview that he's still very raw. We saw moments of rawness in him. We saw moments of him being immature. Obviously, the situation with Mitchell, where they had a little altercation, both getting booked as well. But Madueke came on. He was influential and he's poetic because I would have said that Madueke needs to start because he still has some weights to go in terms of being raw, not being there yet, and he's still young. He was coming back from an injury as well, so his minutes had to be managed. So I guess I can understand why I didn't start, but I preferred him to start. I predicted him to start thinking that Pochettino would have given him the go ahead. And one moment that I have to mention about that goal and the penalty that he would have won, he was determined. He was very determined. He got brought down. He was obstructed by Eze, I believe, and he was brought down. But we've also seen a situation here where Pochettino pat him on in the chest and say, "You're going to take the penalty." Gallagher was going to step up to take the penalty, and I think he would have scored because Gallagher is a good penalty taker, I believe. He's done well in the Newcastle penalty shootout, so I believe he has a good conversion rate on him as well. He can convert penalties, I believe so. But Madueke would have scored a goal, I believe, like it was against, I think it was, I'm not going to say the wrong team, but I don't know if it was Wimbledon or whoever we played in the League Cup. But whoever we did, I know that he's good at doing that. But there was a situation there where we see Pochettino telling him that he's going to take the penalty, and we see some manager-player connection, some chemistry be developed, some funness and some situation of appreciation and support from Pochettino to Madueke, tell him you're gonna take the penalty. You want the penalty, you're gonna take it. And it's a very good thing. It's a good way to boost his confidence, his morale, going into a situation where Mudryk could potentially be injured. I'm hoping he isn't, and I hope it won't be a long period as well if he's injured, where he may get a bigger opportunity, may get more opportunities. Chelsea would have to face a situation where they would be without Sterling and Palmer, players who have been creative, despite how you feel about the fact that Sterling would have made a poor decision in terms of not making a pass to the players that were available with him against Wolves and making a selfish move. He has been one of the creative outlets for us. He's been creative. Palmer has also been creative. He's been one of the key players for Chelsea this season so far. And, both were suspended and they would be tasked with having to find an option or a solution for the situation. And I think a lot of fans would be fond of the fact that Nkunku is back. People know that he's creative, he knows how to make good passes, he's technical, and we need more technical players. And one thing that I have to say, Jackson needs to be benched. I think he needs to be benched. I have to be honest. I think he needs to be benched. We need a striker in January for sure. I am not against Jackson still playing games, but he can't lead the fold. He cannot be the focal point for us. He's still struggling. He's still making poor decisions. He's still not where he should be. He's not where he could be, and as a result, we have seen him struggle more than we need him to. So as a result, I think he needs to be benched. And I think we're going to need to find a technical player. We need to find technical attackers as well. And we need a striker in January. Whether it's on loan or whatever the club decide to do, we need someone who can lead the lines. Obviously, we have other players who could become influential, who could get an opportunity. Obviously, you have the Jamaican Dujon Whisper Richards, who's also going to be eligible to play for Chelsea in January. So we could see what goes on with him and what Pochettino will do. Obviously, if Pochettino does make it. And I think Pochettino will make it until the end of the season if things obviously don't improve or whatever. I think he will stay until the end of the season. But Jackson is not a focal player. He looks like one of a backup striker, someone or supporting striker rather, for better terminology or for better words. He seems like one where he lays off the ball. He's not a player who gets you the 20 goals a season. And I've said that in my profile video when I analyzed him back in July when he would have signed. I would have mentioned the fact that he is not gonna be a player that scores 20 goals for you. He can create. He has that player of being a creative striker. He's not really a striker per se, a creative forward for better terminology. He's not that type of player. So I think he's going to be more of a supporting striker, supporting creative player, creative forward. I think that's the player that he is. So Jackson needs to be benched. Bro came on. Bro has struggled. He's still going outside. He's handballing the ball as well. So he's struggling as well. I expected that from a player who's still coming back from injury. I expected that. So hopefully we see more. But this was a match that Chelsea needed to win. Luton is a game that comes up on the 30th, and Chelsea must win. I was hoping that they would be aiming to get all 9 points from the three matches, or the 9 points from all three matches that they could get the 9 points in, and they unfortunately did not do that. But they could get 6 out of 9, which is the second best thing. So Luton is a team that they will face off against on the 30th, on the Saturday, very mid break lunchtime kickoff, and we'll see what happens there. But Chelsea get the win. Chelsea succeed in getting a win at home. They have not lost consecutively. They have not broken records for a negative reason. And they have gotten a win yet again. They have a good record against Crystal Palace, so some fans would believe that a win or a draw would have happened. They haven't lost to them in a very long time. It's been 30 matches now. It's been for the past 5 years they have not lost. So therefore, this is a positive. Luton Town is next, and there's a lot of positive things from the game, but Pochettino did piss me off with a lot of things, I have to be honest. But we got the win, that's all that matters. 3 points. We needed to win this game because Wolves are very neck on neck with us. Bournemouth are now below us. They were ahead of us on 25 points. We go ahead of them on goal difference as well. So we are in a good place. And it's fantastic. But hopefully we can improve. Hopefully we do what needs to be done and we go from there. Cheers.